Ahunavaiti Gatha, Yasna 34. Yashyathana vachanhaya yasna ameritadatem Hashem cha taim yodainha mazdakshatrem cha Harvatato Aeshanto Eura Emma Purutema Isdaste. Among the foremost we offer to thee, O mindful Lord, through the mind of good mentality. And verse 2. Achaito emanan hamin yuscha vanhos vispa datas pantahiacha neresyathana yehyarva ashahachaite Piringathe Kshmavato Vahme Mazda Garobis Stutam. All the deeds, speeches, and hymns through which thou shalt bestow immortality, justice, power, health, and we bear the praise of thy grateful people with a bounteousness, such as would gratefully follow along the paths of justice into the outer realms of a one such as you, O Lord mindful. Islam also has this idea of the lowest of the heavens being that with all the stars and these things that we can observe. Verse 3. Atoem yazdem huranim manha ashayet chadam gaethae vispae akshathroe yaevohu thrashta manana aruezi hudaenho vispais mazda kshmavasti savo. But to thee, Lord mindful, and to justice we shall have reverence, offering the oblation. You, with good disposition, may cause all substantial beings which are in the power to mature, seeing that the perfecting of the beneficent man is at all times valuable in one like you. Well, if God's omnipresent, then God is me, I am in God. Outer, inner, around everything, but not the creation. Verse 4. Atoe atremahura jonvantem ashau samai asishtim emmavantem stoera pande chethravanhem atmazdaribish yantezastayashtais dereshtananhem. We wish, O Lord mindful, that thy fire, whose strength His justice may be a promised, powerful, clear, delightful help for supporting the land or the people, but for the enemies, a visible, suggestive, and practical token of harm. Verse 5. Katvek shathrem kaishtis shathanae mazdayatha hahmi ashabo mananha throioidyai dregum yushmakem perevaevis pais perevakem daevaischa kravstrais mashyascha. Have you power? Have you wealth? O Lord, mindful for the deeds which you, with justice and good disposition, to protect your poor through the spiritual enemies, savages, and doomed men, we will declare you to all foreigners. Remember, a real God wouldn't be, oh, I only approve of this tribe and I don't care about the rest, so they should keep it to themselves. No. The word is for all. Verse 6. Yaziyatha stahethin mazda shabahu mananha at tat moedakshatem data ahyan heus vispamatha yathavayazemnascha urvaedyai stavasayani peti. Since you therefore actually have the above powers, O Lord, mindful with justice and good disposition, therefore grant me as a token thereof a change for better now in this life, so that I may the more approach you with greater joy and adoration. So, that's what happens with bhakti, people. Fire being a symbol of the will, but the devotion that produces joy like no other. But verse 7. Kuthra toe redra mazdayoe vanheus vaeden mananhu semgus raekenaeas penchit sadrachit ka chakrayo ushe chakrayo usheru nachintem anyam yushmat vaedasha athanae thrazdum. Are they faithful to thee, Lord mindful, who, though they know of good disposition, turn the difficulties of traditionally inherited doctrine into their own advantage by sophistries? As for me, I know none other but you. Oh, righteousness, therefore protect us. And again, I'm not saying that we worship the angel of righteousness, but think of it. There's fanaticism, there's general oppression, being the physical side, and the mental side is the sophistries. So may we be delivered from all of them. Verse 8. Thais zinai shathanais biente yeshu as peri porumio ithiejo hiara sajai nairian hem Thwahya mazdasta urvatahya yoe noet hasheminyanta abyo turirevo asmano. With such specious deeds, under which lurk danger for many, they are intimidating us, especially me, who am the weaker. For Bandva is stronger with hate of thy commands, O mindful. But those who think not of justice, they are surely distant from good disposition. Yo espentam armitin thwahya mazda berekdam vidusto dushyathanna avazazat Vanheus evisti mananhu aemyomas asha syazdat yavat ahmat aurna crofstra. Those evildoers who drive away bounteous love, so highly praised by the expert knower, O mindful, because they have no share of good disposition, are shunned by the man endowed with justice, as much as the savages are shunned by us. Verse 10. Ahya vanheus mananhu shyathanna vachat gerebam hokratus spentam cha armitin damin vidvae hithamashahya tachavispa urathwami mazdakshathroe avuyathra. The clever expert knower will say he holds to the deeds of good disposition, and to the bounteous Creator love, the associate of justice, and to all thy hopes in the power, O Lord mindful. Verse 11. At toeme haurvascha varethai ameritatascha venheus kshatramananho ashamat armaitis vaksht uteueti tevishti tais amazda vidvayasham thwawiahi. Thus, for both health and immortality, for food and love, ever cause the two enduring and vital to grow through the power of good disposition and through justice. Thus, O mindful, thou blessest the opponents of thy enemies. Well, you certainly know the personality of God more than we know the essence. So, And the personality of God is known through qualities of other things. Verse 12. Kato erazare kat vashi kat vastuto kat vayasnahya sruedyai mazda fravachaya virayat ashis rashnam sishanai Ashapatho vanheus vaetang mananho. What is thy decree? What is thy wish? What praise? What hymn? That we may hear it, do thou, Lord mindful, reveal what compensation thou wilt grant for keeping thy observances. Teach us justice, the passable paths of good disposition. Verse 13. Temman vanim hurayim moim ras venheus mananhu danai Sashyantam Yahukareta Ashachit Urvakshat Yachivishtaurabyo Nizdemazda Yahyatu Dathram. And the way of good disposition which thou toldest me, which is well informed by justice, and on which the spirits of the Saviors progress, which thou, O mindful, hast assigned to the clever as one of the compensations which are at thy disposal. And remember, it's not the Christian sense of a Savior God, it's a God like that, like the real Avatar sense of when somebody to embody something that we're supposed to follow, somebody who receives the revelation that gives us the opportunity to save ourselves. Verse 14. Tatzi mazdaverin astvaeteustanai datavenheus Shafana mananu yoe zigeus verezene azyae kshmakam huchistim ahura krateus ashafrado verezena. What choice, Lord mindful, give to my corporeal life through the action of good disposition, and to whomsoever belongs to the groups of those who labor at herding, calving, the vulnerable animals giving birth. Good wisdom of the understanding which causes prosperity for the caste of laboring men. Mazdat moeva ishtasravas chashya thanachavacha tatuvahumananha ashacha eshuram stuto kshmaka kshatra Ahura Firashem Vazna Hithyam Dai Ahum. O Lord mindful, with good disposition and with justice, inform me of the best teachings and deeds and speeches, and what praise of ours you claim as your due. Through power, grant that according to your will humanity may be progressive. And Gatha Ahunavaiti is going to be the next Gatha. But I see there's some room here to share some notes for another couple Yasnas and finish this. So Yasna 49, Zarathustra defeated by Bendva, appeals for defenders. Part 1, Zarathustra utters imprecations on a successful opponent. Verse 1 and 2, perdition to Bendva, the chief obstacle, and to his hired prophet, Grehma. Verse 3, whose teachings promote perdition, wherefore both deserve excommunication. 4, to them violence to the cattle seems meritorious, that they may yet gain the upper hand. 5, bliss awaits those who hold to the true belief. Part 2, Thrasha Ashtra is urged to become defender. Verse 6, Zarathustra seeks to know clearly God's plan so that he may proclaim his religion acceptably to God. 7, whom among noble or commoner does God choose his champion? 8, Zarathustra prays that Thrasha Ashtra may attain union with Asha, and that he himself may attain the kingdom. Both of them would be God's ambassadors for eternity. Jamaspa also is called. May he remember what the prophet can, at the latter end, do for those who follow him faithfully. 10, Zarathustra will take pains to see to it that all good deeds are remembered and rewarded. 11, while the unbelievers may expect the worst. And Yasna 50, ordination of disciples to form settlements. Part 1, how to form new settlements. Verse 49:12, Zarathustra asks what help is coming to him from the entity, what is help coming to him from divinity, whom he worships. 51, from whom else can he expect help? 2, how shall new settlements be started? By just living and by clever aggression. 3, ultimate possession will result from gradually dispossessing the Druids from neighboring lands. Part 2. These settlers are to act as missionaries. 4, Zarathustra praises divinity for the settlers' joy at their establishment. 5, divinity's responsive joy leads Zarathustra to encourage the settlers to manual labor. 6, may the settlers propagate Zarathustra's commands in a prophetic manner. 7, these missionaries are compared to steeds whom Zarathustra will yoke for divinity. 8, as priest, Zarathustra presents to divinity the devoted prayers of humanity. Or, as one saw in Muhammad's last experience, he acts as community. Have I conveyed? And Part 3. But Zarathustra remains the only mediator. Verse 9. So Zarathustra again stands before God, before divinity, as mediator. But to the congregation he promises that when he is among divinity, he will then still more energetically see to it that his followers get the reward. 10. Zarathustra's past and future actions and nature's beauties praise divinity. 11. Zarathustra would forever remain the eulogist of divinity. Yasna 51. Enemies, heroes, and saints of the kingdom. Part 1. The children of the kingdom. Verse 1. Zarathustra's object is to gain the heavenly kingdom for himself and his. Assure us that we will be rewarded, O Ahura Mazda, if we serve faithfully. 3. Prayers of those who serve thee by deeds should be heard. 4. Where is retribution, forgiveness, divinity, and the kingdom? 5a. To the pious farmer, grant a cow in his paradise. 5b and 6. Inasmuch as Zarathustra is appointed judge and distributor at the end. 7. Zarathustra invokes on himself strength and judgment. Yeah, acts for the best of the world for yourself too. Part 2. Opposition to the prophet is enmity to humanity. Verse 8 and 9. Clear knowledge of reward and punishment is its chief issue. 10a. Hence an opponent to its teacher, Zarathustra, is an enemy to humanity. 10b and 11. Against whom Zarathustra summons Asha and every friend of his. Certainly the angels of justice and all sorts of stuff would be attracted and bear witness. Not that one has to conjure them. 12. One of these opponents was inhospitable to Zarathustra. 13. Which act will deprive him of reward and dooms him to terrors. 14. The Karpans will not practice agriculture or spare cattle. By one word shall they be condemned to the house of the Druj. 15. Zarathustra claims for himself that which he has promised to the believers, and which Ahura Mazda was the first to attain in heaven. Part 3. Supporters of the prophet are heroes and saints. 16. Praise from Vishtaspa, the political chief of the congregation. Congregation, not church, because we do our own hero deeds. 17. For Frashashtra, the noble of the Vagva family. 18. Who promised him his daughter, and for Jamaspa, his son-in-law. 19. Also for Maid Yomangha, the missionary. 20. These 4 leaders produce prosperity, which results in godliness. 21. Which results in attainment of the kingdom. Shapa. 22. Zarathustra will reverence those who, like the above 4 heroes, have acquired Ahura Mazda's recognition. And Yasna 53, a good one to say for marriage, or at least it can be. Zarathustra gives his daughter to secure a champion. 1. The first part, marriage ceremony, so verse 1 and 2. The prophet is assured of a most excellent lot beyond, as are his followers and supporters, the heroes Vishtaspa, Frashashtra, and Maid Yomangha. 3. Zarathustra gives away Puruchishta, exhorting her that she grow wise by obedience to her husband as mediator towards divinity and the cause. 4. By serving him, the believers and relatives Puruchishta will attain divine blessing. 5. By common life, the married pair are to cherish each other and encourage each other to do good works. 6. The pleasures of the evil are short and lead to tortures in hell. 7. If you are constant to the cause, you shall be happy, but woe be to you if you abandon it. Part 2. The bridegroom is goaded to conversion by the sword. That doesn't sound right. Let people believe or disbelieve whatever they want. 8. Renewed encouragement to Vishtaspa to promote peace for the faithful by slaughter of the enemy, and quickly too. 9. It is certain the evil shall go to hell. But where is the prince who is to anticipate that doom of theirs, will rid the earth of them immediately? Ahura Mazda has the power to give to the poor that better part. So, summary of Zarathustra's message. And then a life, as I share the Ahunavaiti Gatha. Kshnaturahu Rahimasta Eshimbaho Kam Namasta.